American film actor Alan Ladd rose to fame in the 1940s and 1950s as one of Hollywood's biggest stars. He was in the top 10 earners list for 3 years in a row, in 1947, 1953, and 1954. His distinct acting style and masculinity distinguished him from his contemporaries, as he was renowned for his modest and understated on-screen persona despite his diminutive size. Alan Ladd made a big impact in the film industry. He was often paired with a similarly petite Veronica Lake in hit film noir such as The Glass Key 1942 and The Blue Dahlia 1946. Although he never received an Academy Award nomination, Ladd was named the most popular male star in the Photoplay Awards in 1953. And he went on to win a Golden Globe Award as the World Film Favorite the following year. One of Alan Ladd's most iconic roles was as the title character in Shane 1953. This performance cemented his legacy as a great noir actor and earned him recognition as one of the greatest Western actors of all time. Despite not receiving any award nominations, his impact on the film industry and the memorable characters he brought to life will ensure that Alan Ladd will always be remembered. Alan Ladd was born on September 3, 1913 in Hot Springs, Arkansas. He was raised by his mother, who was English, after his father, an accountant, passed away from a heart attack when Alan was just 4 years old. Growing up in poverty, in 1920, Alan was malnourished and made fun of by his peers for being short. In spite of their poverty, Alan's family relocated to California, where his stepfather worked as a painter and decorator. They moved to Hollywood and lived in a temporary camp in Pasadena, where Alan later talked about how they survived for extended periods of time on potato soup. At the age of 14, Alan started working part-time as a grocery store employee, handling produce crates, which helped him gain strength and become a keen swimmer and athlete. In 1930, Alan enrolled at North Hollywood High School, where he found his passion for the stage, became involved in the school's dramatic society, and became a top-tier swimmer and diver. He was even training for the 1932 Olympic Games until an injury kept him from continuing after completing his education. Alan Ladd set his sights on a career in acting to support himself while trying to establish himself in the industry. He worked as a lifeguard and even opened his own hamburger stand, which he named Tiny Patio after his childhood nickname. Despite these setbacks, Alan Ladd persisted in his dream and, with the support of a family friend, he enrolled in an acting school at Universal Pictures and even took on jobs as a studio grip and carpenter at Warner Brothers. Despite being rejected by film studios due to his fair complexion, he was persistent and worked hard to improve his speaking voice. His perseverance paid off, and he began to land small roles in local theater. Alan Ladd, who was determined to establish himself in the acting industry, began with small walk-on roles in movies like Tom Brown of Culver Island, of Lost Souls, Pigskin Parade, and The Last Train from Madrid. In 1939, he joined the Sue Carroll Agency and started to land better quality roles in movies like Rulers of the Sea, Blame It on Love, Those Were the Days, and Meet the Misses. In 1941, he played a small but notable role as a newspaper reporter in Citizen Kane. In 1942, he played his best role yet in June of Paris, starring Thomas Mitchell. 2 months later, he married his agent. Sue Carroll, a former actress and fervent advocate for her clients, helped him land a studio deal with Paramount. With his wife's help, the young actor was given more important roles, and he took advantage of them to launch his career as a Hollywood star. Alan Carroll's career took off after he was paired with actress Veronica Lake in the 1942 movie. This firearm he starred in a number of memorable films during this time, including the noir classic, The Glass Key, and Lucky Jordan, in which he played his first leading role. However, America's entry into World War II temporarily interrupted the boy's success. He served in the Army Air Force for the majority of 1943 before being discharged due to digestive issues. For hire, the duo's on-screen chemistry was a hit with audiences, and they went on to make 6 more films together. For more than 10 years, Alan Ladd's success in Hollywood solidified his place as one of the top actors in the business. In 1946, he gave exceptional performances in 3 successful movies, 2 years prior to the thriller OSS, the noir movie, and Masked the Spy. Making the most of his newfound fame, the Blue Dahlia with Veronica Lake started his own production company. In 1947, he also started a syndicated radio show called Box 13, which followed the exploits of Dan Holliday, a newspaperman who became a mystery author and was portrayed by a young man. His movies kept doing well at the box office. In 1947, 1953, and 1954, several of them made the top 10 list. The boy starred in a number of popular adventure movies with macho man characters, like in 1948, Whispering Smith, The Great Gatsby 1949, and Botany Bay and Desert Legion 1953. The young man's greatest achievement occurred in 1953 when he played the mysterious gunslinger in Shane, who aids a family of settlers in their battle against a land baron. The film's famous ending features the young boy calling out Hollywood Western classics. We'll always remember Shane's return as the boy rides off into the sunset. But the boy's career post-Shane fell short of its outstanding expectations. After a financial dispute with Paramount, he launched his own production firm at 0631. In the same year, Jaguar Productions, with the assistance of his agent and wife Sue Carroll, agreed to a 3-picture deal with Warwick Films, provided that his own screenwriter. The scripts are co-written by Richard Mayome. The 3 movies, English-made paratroopers, sometimes referred to as The Black Knight and The Red Beret Hell Below Zero, were well received. The majority of Alan Ladd's subsequent films, including the 1955 McConnell narrative and The Proud, Despite Rebel in 1958, Boy on a Dolphin in 1957, in which he co-starred with Sophia Loren in her first English-language motion picture, was well praised. The 1960 Korean War drama, All the Young Men, in which the boy starred with Sidney Poitier in his private life, was another well-received movie. When Alan was 4 years old, he saw his father die of a heart attack. When he was 5, he and a friend were playing with matches when they unintentionally set fire to the family's apartment. He grew up in poverty and had to work odd jobs like fruit picking and paper delivery to help support the family after his career took off. His stepfather also died, and he had to care for his alcoholic mother, who committed suicide in 1938. Alan battled depression for a large portion of his adult life. Alan Ladd was married twice. In 1936, he married Jane Harold, and the two had a son. In 1942, he married his agent, Sue Carroll, who was 10 years his senior and an actress. The two had a son and a daughter, and the marriage lasted until his death. However, in 1955, while filming, Ladd had a brief affair with his co-star June Allison. The McConnell narrative ultimately exacerbated the boy's already existing dismal sentiments. Throughout his life, the boy had a number of health problems and mishaps. In addition, he battled insomnia and, regrettably, turned to alcohol and sedatives for solace and tranquility in November 1962. Despite the seriousness of the situation, the studio covered it up as an accident, and Alan the boy continued to work in the industry, starring in his final picture after attempting suicide and being discovered after shooting himself. The Carpetbaggers in 1964. Sadly, Alan Ladd died on January 29, 1964, in Palm Springs, California, from an alcohol and pill overdose at the young age of 50. Although many believed he committed himself, the official cause of death was determined to be accidental. The renowned actor was buried in Forest Lawn in Glendale, California. Goodbye, Alan. We will always remember your influence on the film industry.